Just when you think it can't get worse with these guys, it actually is getting worse. Whatever proposals you think before is actually being put out by these people, and you think it's probably unfair, probably insane, or probably just like discriminatory in its nature, this is much worse and it's actually getting worse. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, yesterday or 2 days ago, I think, the leader of the Reform UK party, the favorite right now to actually win the next general election, just brought out a proposal to shake everything up. As of right now, the general and normal process to achieve settlement in this country is after getting whatever visa you have, you then apply for a pre-settlement, which is a 5 year period. And then to be able to be eligible for indefinite leave to remain, it's either 5 or 10 years. You stay in this country for that period and also show a level of or proof of work or education, whatever it is. And then after that time, you apply for indefinite leave to remain. Now, what is actually indefinite leave to remain and what can you actually do with it? It says it on the screen. Indefinite leave to remain is how you settle in the UK. It's also called settlement. It gives you the right to live, work, and study here for as long as you like and apply for benefits if you're eligible. You can use it to apply for British citizenship. There are different ways to achieve or to get indefinite leave to remain based on your circumstances, right? If you work in the UK, if you have a family in the UK, if you live in the UK for 10 years, it is actually 10 years. If you are a Commonwealth citizen, those are generally the ways to actually apply for it. Now, for you to be able to get indefinite leave to remain, what criteria do you actually need to meet? Well, this is it. Continuous residence. You must not have been outside the UK for more than 180 days in any 12-month period during your qualifying time. You also need to show knowledge of language and life in the UK, which is 2 requirements. Life in the UK test. Pass the life in the UK test by answering at least 75% of the questions correctly, and also English language proficiency. Prove you have a B1 level of English or higher in the speaking and listening through an approved test or an academic qualification taught in English. Exemptions, obviously, people that are over like under 18 and over 65. Generally, you wouldn't expect someone young or people too old. There could be like a mental or physical problem there that can limit the ability for them to be able to speak proficiently. So anyone in the middle of those 2 ages, that obviously makes more sense. Also, good character. The Home Office will assess your immigration and criminal history, including any serious crime convictions, breaches of immigration rules, or fraudulent activities, which is good. You want to actually abide by the law. That's a very good requirement. Also, financial requirements. Depending on your visa route, you may need to prove that you can support yourself and your dependents without relying on public funds. You obviously need to show that anyone that comes with you or yourself, you need to be able to financially depend on yourself without depending on public services, because you want people to come to this country, work, and not just take something out. You want them to be able to do something by themselves. Now, looking at all this, what actually is the difference if you meet all these criteria? What is the difference between this person and someone that was born here that just got the British citizenship? What is actually the difference? There really isn't. You got to be able to make money to be able to pay for yourself. Okay. You got to be able to speak good English, understand the life in the UK. You got to have good character. You got to be a good citizen. And also, you got to actually live in this country. These are things that a British person would have just because they're born here. But also, if you can meet this threshold, why can't you have a legal status and stay in this country? This is what reform are trying to take out. There is no difference between someone qualifying for the leave to remain status and someone that was born here. There really isn't any difference at all. Because you got to be able to speak English the way someone that was born here can. You got to be able to make money to be able to depend on yourself the way someone that was born here can. You also got to be able to show that, hey, I can actually live by the rules in this country the same way someone that was born here can. There literally is no difference. That's what this party literally is trying to take away. Now, very importantly, after getting this leave to remain status, what actually can you get? What are the actual things that you actually have access to now that you probably won't be able to have access to before? Freedom to work. You generally will now have freedom to work wherever you are, and also will not be tied to any sponsor from the person employing you, and there wouldn't be like a time period where you would have to show that your status has been renewed. You wouldn't have to do that because now indefinite leave to remain means you can't stay here for as long as you want. Access to public funds. There will be some benefits you wouldn't be able to get before that now you would be able to apply to. Public services, home student tuition fees. You can bring people now into the country. You can bring your family. You can also bring their partner into it. There are multiple benefits you can get to by having a leave to remain in this country. Now, what exactly are these people planning? What actually is their plan? It says it right here. Under reforms plans, this settled status will be scrapped, even for those residing in the UK on it. Just let that sink in. It's not even like a new process for, okay, anytime we get into government, anyone from that point on, this is going to be how it's done. It's going to be anyone. So if you've gotten leave to remain in this country for what, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 30 years ago, it's going to apply to you as well, regardless. So if you've been in this country for a long period of time on a leave to remain status, you will get your leave to remain status revoked, and then you're going to have to apply for a visa. Basically start from the beginning. Instead, a new visa that will be far stricter. It's going to be far stricter. You know what's going to be required. The requirements would need to be successfully applied for and renewed every 5 years. So after going through the pre-settlement status and then getting to the leave to remain, you're then going to get that revoked and then apply for a visa every 5 years. Also, this policy would reportedly also see the salary threshold to apply increased to around £60,000, nearly double the median UK salary. How does that even make sense? This is middle class wage. How are you going to have the middle class wage as a requirement for people to live in this country? Is crazy. There are so many people that are going to be affected by this, and it's really just important for people that are actually going to be voting, because there will be people voting for these people that are going to be on leave to remain. People on leave to remain, they will think they're settled in this country, but if you vote for them, this is one of the strictest things they are obviously going to try and put in place, which is going to directly it is going to impact you. I don't think anyone can actually look at this and actually think, I am on leave to remain right now, and still regardless I'm going to vote for them. I mean, unless you meet every requirement, sure, but how many people can? How many people are going to be on £60,000 a year? That's not a median salary. That's a middle class salary. Most people don't earn £60,000. They don't. Going on, the plans will throw the lives of estimated 430,000 people holding leave to remain into uncertainty. Despite many having lived in the UK for decades, they would be forced to reapply and would face deportation if they do not qualify under the new rules. People that have been on this status for 20, 30 years, where are you going to deport them to? Someone can't be here for 30 years and then you're going to deport them. Where are you going to deport them? That doesn't even make any sense. They've been here most of their life. Where are you going to deport them to? That doesn't literally makes no sense. Also, talking about the benefits that you actually get being on this status, it would also see the rights and freedoms they enjoy being restricted, as access to NHS services or benefits will be rescinded. That means probably you wouldn't get free healthcare anymore. Some of the benefits, if you're laid off work, you probably wouldn't have that anymore. You probably wouldn't be able to apply for social housing anymore. How do you expect people to live if they can't get these benefits? It doesn't make sense. The new visas would require advanced English with strict new limits on partners and family members being able to join. It already is a requirement to get this status already. Being able to proficiently speak English, it already is a requirement. How the hell are you? What do they have to be experts at speaking English now? Is that what it means? This is just crazy. Now, obviously, it is reform. It is Nigel Farage. So inevitably, you are going to get clips and moments where they show lack of knowledge and lack of understanding for the things they're fighting for and the things they actually stand for, inevitably there will be a moment where you see them have no answer to real questions about the things that they actually advocate for. This is one of the moments right now. Watch this.
Just get some clarity very quickly on if somebody is on benefits but has indefinite leave to remain at the moment, will they be deported? Is that exactly what the policy is? And if so, do you expect legal challenges on that? And if I may, just a second question, what about pensioners who have indefinite leave to remain? They won't be able to apply for a work visa because they're not working anymore, but they may have been in this country for decades.
Amazing question. Amazing question. If someone's been on, if they're on pension right now because they've been in this country and have worked for so many years, which means obviously they're retired now, they can't work anymore. Well, for you say they need to be on £60,000 a year. Well, they're not going to be on that, probably because they're on pensions. So how are they going to get your visa that you're rolling out now? How are they going to be able to apply for that? Does that mean anyone on pensions that can't work because they're retired, does that mean you're just going to what? Throw them back to the country they came from? Even though they've contributed massively for them to be able to get state pensions. How is that going to work? Obviously, they haven't thought that through yet.
Let us deal with the main objective of today's press conference. It's to wake everybody up to the Boris wave. It's to wake everybody up to the sheer irresponsibility of the last government and the massive impending cost that will have on this country for decades and decades to come. That is the primary reason that we're sitting here talking with you today. Yes, it is true. There are those here on indefinite leave to remain that are living on benefits. Will we be free from legal challenges? Well, of course, having cut out the Human Rights Act, the European Court in Strasbourg, British courts will be free to make judgments that are the right judgments, which they're not at the moment. We are not for a minute pretending that going back through the backlog is going to be an easy thing to do. It'll be complex. It'll come in many forms. But we do intend to...
He obviously doesn't answer the question. He obviously doesn't answer the question. He just talks about, oh no, wait, we just leave that to one part, okay? Let's just talk about what we're here for today. The problem is what you're here for today creates problems. And he just asked you one of those problems. If people can't work because they can't earn £60,000 a year, how are they going to qualify for your visa? Does that mean everyone on pension just get thrown back to the country they came from? How is that even going to work? That literally makes no sense. Well, hey, that's just my thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, it would be massively appreciated if you drop a like. And also, if you're new around to this channel, subscribe.